Wednesday, October 30th. So where did you leave off? You've had 2 days of substitutes, actually 3 if you count last week in the morning. You've been working alone with the sub. I want to know how far you got through lesson 3.1. Once we establish kind of where we're at, reminding ourselves what 3.1 was all about, that you're gaining an understanding about the rate and direction of current plate movement, that you're obtaining information from a video, a GPS, and calculating the rate that 2 plates are spreading apart in the simulation. You should have watched a video to learn about GPS. You should have calculated the rate of plate movement using the simulation. That you can estimate the rate of plate movement, in other words, in a yearly basis about how fast do they move or how far do they move. And that you understand the long time scale it takes for these 2 continents to move apart. So we take a moment to explain why we watched Bill Nye Volcanoes yesterday. We want to make sure you understand that volcanoes, like Baker and Rainier, are an example of one type of volcanic activity that happens in convergent plate boundaries, and that mid-ocean ridges are similar to what you see, or are what you see at divergent plate boundaries, and that way you can recognize plate movement patterns a little bit better. We're going to go over our assessment questions so far from the pre-unit and critical juncture assessment. I've imported those into Kahoot so we can talk about each of the questions. Some of you aren't answering consistently in the multiple choice between what you're writing and your written explanations, and we want to make the connection clear. So your warm-up should be completed and handed in as of yesterday. The teacher played the GPS videos. We confirmed that you had time to go through the simulation and calculate rates. We'll revisit the discussion a little bit. Step 3 and 4, I want to give you time to finish up today in class just to make sure. We'll have about 10-15 minutes left after the Kahoot. And then tomorrow, we're going to review our 2.5 arguments and our essay reviews and explain very clearly why you need a claim, evidence, which is what many of you are missing, and the reasoning. A lot of you, I can tell, are trained to provide answers, but you're not backing it up with evidence. Those just are items that pop out of your head, and in science, it's the evidence that does the talking. So we'll outline the unit on paper, make sure we understand each of the steps along the way, and then we'll probably get to Bill Nye earthquakes, just to reemphasize that plates are not moving because of earthquakes, but because plates move, they cause earthquakes.